Howdy, y'all. Today we're talking about this guy. And I'm here with Wonder Lady.
Hi.
And we're talking about Dr. Jones and his episode on Ephesians that was bad. It was just so bad.
I really think he's put his brain into a blender and he's just spouting crap out his mouth. I really don't like the way he treats our Diana.
Yeah, I don't like it either. He's being a bully in this. I've seen most of it. I haven't watched all of it yet, but
Yeah.
I've seen enough to gain perspective on what his tactic is here.
Well, the funny thing is about this tactic, it may work in the heat of the moment, but the person who employs these tactics is, and I'm just saying this for the audience, if you do these sort of things in an argument, you didn't win, and you're just going to cause resentment and be labeled an asshole. Just being honest.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're talking about Ephesians and how it's not about being saved, or it's not about Jesus either for some fucking reason.
Yeah, because the Bible's totally not Christian. No.
Well, you gotta take into the consideration and the context from the standpoint of Greek.
Right. Do you speak Greek? I speak Greek.
Everybody should speak Greek. I mean, that's just common.
We all speak Greek.
But I mean, there is a time for studying, context and language and things, but not to treat people like crap.
Yeah.
And definitely not to just buy your time and put a bunch of filler and fodder into what you're stating. So that basically his tactic was, let me bore my audience to death while pulling these really long words out of my ass and pretending to be an intellectual, and then ask a load of questions of my guests while they're half asleep. They have to agree with me.
Definitely. There any, do you agree with me?
Does that sound right? Huh? Sure, whatever.
So, ladies and gentlemen, please get out your pot holders, put them on your hands, and get ready to facepalm safely. Safely.
Facepalm.
Side Strike has talked about the pot holders. I think they have special ones, but if you don't have the Side Strike movie night pot holders, then you're just gonna have to make do with what you can find in your kitchen.
Yeah, you might also want to put a condom on, just for good.
Yes, full body condom. BOP.
Because this is a bukkake of shit. Just saying.
Beautifully presented.
Oh yes,
of course.
Especially in this context, they would say, "Oh, I know what koinonia means." Actually, Paul is sharing with me a koinonia style. In other words, the writing prose of Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8, and subsequent passages of the same chapter and book, this is written in koinonia style. What is koinonia? If I said Daryl and I were going to jointly participate, that would be koinonia. If I said,
or a collab.
Yeah. I mean, or sex, whichever. That's
whatever you're into. I'm not judgmental.
We don't judge you here at Elite.
For the purposes of building meaningful community, that would be koinonia. And so what koinonia means, it means to have fellowship. It means the motive behind it is to build meaningful community.
Hurting.
It means to jointly participate. Does that make any sense? Okay. And so if the style is meant as joint participation, and if one can read Greek, you're going to understand that the Greek language is utilizing its verbs and verbals in such a manner that it would create something where people could see it almost in an aspectual way rather than a tense-driven way, but it's more maybe
Aspectual.
Paleo. It leans more into a Greekish type thing mixed in with Hebrew thought. Who is a Hebrew thinker trying to convey.
Okay, so he knows exactly how they're thinking because he's looking at the context and he's putting all of the. It's like conspiracy theory thinking.
It's a Hebrew thinker, though. It's not human, and it's definitely not like from a different time period or anything. It's a Hebrew thinker.
Yeah, it was like a mind-to-mind hookup with like aliens. You have to have context.
You have to be able to read brains from 2,000 years ago. And be able to read those brains in the original Greek, even though he's talking about Hebrew thinkers.
Yeah, I guess this is why we should believe the Bible. I don't know what his point is.
I think what he's saying is believe in him.
Oh, because he knows the Greeks, right?
Yeah, he's smart.
He knows the mind of Paul, and like, yeah, that's
so smart.
Mind reader.
So smart.
Stable genius.
When Hebrew, in a Greek sense, from time to time, what happens is they're trying to import something into another language. We find this happening in English all the time from Greek and Latin. We find that so many things are strongly emphasized simply because of the manner in which certain words and certain things were used in Greek and Latin, simply because that's the backbone of, if you will, of our structured language that is English.
Great.
The same thing is true in this sense. We have a Hebrew author, we have a Hebrew thinker trying to express himself, namely in Greek. Now, think about this. We have a lot of Hispanics in this area of Pensacola. I was talking with one yesterday, and I took several years of Spanish, but I don't do very well in Mexico unless they're speaking the dialect that I learned, and this person doesn't speak.
So it must be the wrong dialect.
It must be wrong.
Awesome. But my point is, this individual is from Mexico doing work here in Pensacola, a very kind person. But he was trying to express himself in English through the means of his Hispanic understanding. Does that make any sense to you, Diana?
His Hispanic
understanding. Absolutely. Okay. The same thing is true about Ephesians chapter 2, verse 8. We can't look at this purely as Greek. We have to understand that, wow, this guy is really showing that he's very aspectual. And what does aspectual mean? It means that he's looking at the language from the context of vantage points. And I keep talking about deictic centers, and simply because if we're going to talk about deictic centers, and I've said this over and over again, and just to be redundant or just clear or make it
or get on with it.
If I'm standing on the
it's called browbeating
sidewalk and I'm watching the parade go by, that's one vantage point. And
oh my fucking God, Dr. Jones, we know what vantage point is.
I'm standing there and waving at everyone.
No, because you're an atheist. You're stupid.
Helicopter.
You know? I'm sorry. I know you mean well. He's all knowing.
This is like Islamic apologetics.
Uh-huh.
It's so much like it. Well, you can't criticize the Quran because you don't speak Arabic.
Uh-huh.
You don't know you don't know the mind of Arabs, so therefore
you don't know the mind of God, so you can't have an opinion on anything anyone says about God.
It's like an emo teenager. You try to reason with them, but they're just too deep. You just don't understand.
I know everything, don't you?
Yeah, but I'm so misunderstood. So frustrating. So much angst.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw a fit on YouTube and just like, I don't know, have somebody there as my punching bag.
Oh, I can think of a few people to punch. Can we?
Only metaphorically, because metaphors are just as strong as.
Well, everything we do in life is metaphorically. So, did you punch this individual? Metaphorically, I did.
Yeah, metaphorical punching.
Managing the prey, that's a different vantage point. My point is, this writer is writing from the vantage point. Two vantage points are expressed here, that is, within the language flux.
The language flux.
Something that creates this koinonia, this joint participation. So it's not true that the Protestants are right, that this grace and this faith is coming exclusively that is from one direction.
It's not true that the Protestants are right. Why can't he just phrase it, the Protestants are wrong?
Yeah, that would be too simple, though, wouldn't it, Dr. Jones? It would just be too clear for everybody. And, you don't want to be clear, because if you're clear with your points, then you can't be dishonest. And you can't seem like a nice guy who's...
Well, I didn't say that they were wrong. I just said they weren't right.
This is actually a wolf in sheep's clothing. I have a nice little tone, but I'm going to condescend. I'm going to waste everybody's time. And I'm gonna treat people like crap because they don't believe like I do. I'm the only one that's right.
And I'm gonna phrase things in such a douchebaggery way that I can't be called on my bullshit.
Yep.
But Dr. Jones, I hate to tell you, you're still coming off as an asshole.
Yep.
It means that both man and humanity at the same time, they are jointly participating. Doesn't make any sense.
No.
So far, so good. I beg your pardon?
In humanity?
I'm simply saying that in this sense, I really believe, Daryl, beyond question, that the Apostle Paul's, one of his students, is authoring this and using God as a rhetorical device. As I've said, God is but the abstract.
So how do we know when God's being used as a rhetorical device and when he isn't?
Well, because we just have to go to Dr. Jones and have him explain it to us. Don't you know?
Well, that might take a lot of time.
Oh, but it's the only way to be right.
I guess so.
We'll
just have to rely on him to be our authority, shall we?
Of the idea by which we orient ourselves to create a functional society. And in this particular passage, what Paul is attempting to do, he's attempting to reconcile. Someone asked me the other day, do you like atonement? And I said, when it comes to penal substitution, no. When it comes to Christus victor, no. I don't like those atonement theories. However, if by atonement you mean reconciliation, yes. Do I think that if I have a checkbook, I need to reconcile it? Yes. Do we go through reconciliation from time to time when people do X, Y, and Z? This is what we have to do to survive and to move on, right? As a species, we could not have, let's say, won the battle of evolution if we would not have learned to reconcile things, correct? So reconciliation has been part of the pathway of our evolutionary process. I think you would agree with that, correct, Diana?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so learning how to reconcile, whether you use God or not God, it really doesn't matter, just as long as it works, correct? And so whether a writer is using
God... No, it does matter. It matters a lot. You're basically saying, well, let's make a choice to reconcile things in a way that works.
Well, let's make
or an imaginary way.
Oh, yeah, or the way that makes him correct. He has to be right. He has to be right. Has to.
There are better ways to reconcile.
Like, I'm going to make a point and I'm going to talk out my butt and I'm going to say, like, the only way to be is to be, and brand buds or something that is good to eat, and I'll go, right? And then, of course, everyone has to agree with me.
You know what would be a better use than God? Anything else.
Yeah.
Anything. A pile of shit would bring people together. At least we would have fertilizer for
I
crops.
was going to say, that's like excellent compost, depending on what pooped it out.
Yeah. So, God, as a concept, is ultimately useless unless you need some kind of authority that you can point to that no one can see.
I prefer authority. Or authority. Respect my authority.
I was going to say authoritative. But I changed my mind mid-word and it didn't turn out right.
Oh, no, I love it.
They need an authority that they can point to, but there's nothing to point to. There's no God, Dr. Jones.
He needs
no
this.
God.
He obviously needs this, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. But douchebaggery score from like 1 to 10?
11.
Awesome. Well, then hold on to your horses, because this gets worse.
Well, I've been tainted as far as my bias goes because I've already seen some of the disgusting shit that goes on later in the video. So,
oh yeah,
that's where I'm coming from.
Oh yeah, I don't like this guy. I don't like them, and I really don't understand why some people are like, he's so nice. No, he's not.
Because he talks in a calm voice and kind of like SJ.
I saw.
Oh.
Without God there, it really doesn't matter as long as the job is being accomplished.
Yeah, you might as well do it without God.
The writer is actually suggesting that karate, grace, is something that has to be extended both ways. In other words, it's a two-way street.
Did you say grace?
Galatine.
He rolled the R for grace?
Well, he was thinking about how he referred to Spanish a while ago, and he just had to ara. Ara.
Oh, no. Oh. No! Dr. Jones, say it isn't so. You can roll your R's?
Si, senorita.
How educated you must be.
Ara. Is he in a bar?
Seriously. No, green screen. I mean, look at the lighting in his glasses. He's like trying to look so like hip and with it, and he's not judgmental or heavy-handed. He's at a bar. He can kick back. He can drink.
But see, like, if you were actually in a bar, it would explain the shit that he's saying. It'd be like, okay, go home, you're drunk.
Nice, trying to give him an out for being a jackass.
I was really searching, but you said it's a green screen, so I got nothing. I tried, Dr. Jones. I tried.
Snarky's nicer than me. But we all knew that.
That's debatable.
But he needs to reciprocate. It's like in a relationship with my wife. If there is not mutuality in love, if love is just going that way and not back to me, it's not going to be a mature love, correct? Mm-hmm. And so this is what Paul is attempting to frame within the context of Ephesians. There's got to be a two-way street. You can't talk about in premise God without talking about humanity. This has got to be something.
That's bullshit.
And so,
where did he get this idea?
When he was waxing his carrot.
I seriously want to believe he was drunk. I really do. Because basically what he's saying is God doesn't exist without humanity. Humanity doesn't exist without God. It is a dynamic that coexists and has to. Therefore, there must be some kind of flow in between humanity and God, right? That's what he's saying?
Basically, it's like that whole Batman Joker thing.
Yeah,
Batman created the Joker and the Joker created Batman.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Except humans created God, and that was it.
But we need God because of that, because we created him.
No, we don't. Not any more than we need any of the fucking other pantheons of gods.
Oh, I agree with you. I'm just interpreting what he's saying, even though he's not a Christian.
So on this premise that he's saying that it has to be a two-way street, a seesaw, if you will. That is not the God that people worship in Christianity. That is not it. There is no power to be taken from human beings and given to God. That is not a dynamic that exists. You, sir.
I think he's trying to work with an atheist narrative.
You, sir, are trying to be deceptive. Either you're being deceptive or you don't know anything about theology. So.
I think he's trying to be deceptive, personally.
Yeah, it seems that way. It's like, okay, well, I'm going to put this position in a more relaxed way, what seems to be relaxed.
What do you know what they should call this? Tramadol Studios.
That's true.
If you can't talk, if you can't sleep, come join us on Tramadol Studios.
You know, I think you could learn a lot more from an ASMR video, just saying. They're just as effective.
I can think of a million people I would rather watch than him, but go on.
But here we are, watching him.
Much as we want to talk about God being gracious and God having some kind of faith, let's talk about, about humanity being extended grace and somehow God giving faith, that is, to humanity. We need to extend this back to God. And
no, we don't.
This was Paul's way of trying to reconcile both Jew and Gentile. And so
if we stop clapping, Tinkerbell's gonna die.
Yeah, basically.
That's fine. Like, Tinkerbell ain't done shit for me.
No, and she always had a bit of an attitude issue. You know, jealousy, the whole Wendy issue, and
I think her skirt was entirely too short.
Oh yeah, not modest at all.
Nope.
No modesty there. But she's a fairy, so
yay.
The premise of his argument that is throughout this book is to reconcile Jew and Gentile. Some people don't get that because here in America...
No, why no?
No, he's reconciled Jew and Gentile. They had to go to the Gentiles because the Jews didn't believe that Jesus was the Messiah.
Yeah.
They needed members for their little cult.
It's kind of the whole point of Paul and his writings and his evangelical pursuit was to get Gentiles to accept a Jewish faith, which there were a few Jews that worshipped, but he wanted this to be widespread as a Gentile religion.
Yeah.
And that was Paul's whole point. But this one verse, I mean, that's a little too much context. It's kind of like, well, we already know this. This is common knowledge. This isn't something that a lot of Americans don't know. Everybody knows this motherfucker. Everybody.
Well, some of us may not.
Well, you know, people that have been in the majority.
Yeah.
You know, and have been subject to this crazy fucking belief.
Totally.
And it's just, I mean, I'll grant you that it wasn't Jews that accepted this on the whole, the majority of the time. At first it was Jewish people, but then it spread out into the Mediterranean. But,
but
like, I don't know.
You don't know. I definitely don't know.
We're not trying to do that. But some people here in America need to pay attention to this chapter and this entire book because there's something about racism that hasn't been reconciled, correct? And someone needs to write a book and reconcile the races to where we can get along. Hello, talk to me.
That's all we need.
This is what Paul is trying to do.
Let's just write a book, and then the races will get along. That's fair.
Right, because everyone can read. Because education is equal.
Yes.
Because people don't. I know so many people who can't read in my town, so this kind of pisses me off.
That's sad.
It's ridiculous. Oh, but those people who can write books. Meanwhile, the religious element in this country, you don't need to do math, spelling, reading, writing. You just need to believe in God and give it to God, and that's all you need is God. And you don't even have to read the Bible because we'll read it to you, and that's all you need. Yeah.
Is it alright?
Give us money.
Is it okay if I skip to where he starts talking about the freedom from religion?
Oh, please.
Let's see if I can find it.
We've had a nice taste of him,
Yeah, we got the backstory of him just
tramadol night,
waving his flaccid cock around.
Because of this, but I don't know that this is the show to do it on. And so, what say you guys?
Oh, just take it as it needs to come. I mean, let's not jump over our heads immediately, but let's get there at some point.
Sure, we can get there. But
is that Diana saying, "Hurry up and make a point"?
Yeah, I think so.
English.
She's so polite.
Yes, I love her.
For those of you who are Protestants, perhaps, or Catholics, perhaps you will consider these words even in the NIV. It says, because of his great love for us. So, this is not atypical for Catholicism or Protestantism. They want to give all the glory to God. All the goodness comes from God. No goodness comes from humanity. And so it's very much a one-way street. This isn't what Paul is saying, but this is what man attempted to do through the church. That is to corrupt. That is the intention of the Apostle Paul in his many epistles. Because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ. That's an interesting statement. Simply because
it's not.
It would emphasize that whatever was made alive, it was made alive at the same time that Christ was made alive. Now picture it this way.
No, that's not what it
Christ
said.
was made alive,
basically it's whatever it is that he wants it to say. That's why you can't go by the Bible. Because it's so vague that you can
interpret it any way you want.
Any way that suits you for the time that you're reading it. That's called confirmation bias. Huh? You know what that word means, Dr. Jones?
Oh, he'll take it to, if your shoes don't match, you shouldn't wear them. That's what he'll take it as or something. It makes no sense to me at all.
Yeah, me neither.
2,000 years ago. And if this epistle is a universal epistle, and there's not a scholar on the planet who would argue that it's not, various reasons. If this is a universal epistle and was given to all, and if it's for both Jew and Gentile to be thought of as one, and it is, the question is, what does it mean, made us alive with Christ? In other words, this concept of belief that has, in a sense, it hasn't just come from church people, it has been coming from philosophers who don't know a heck of a lot about theology. This doesn't say that you were made alive, Diana, Daryl, because you believed, right?
Right.
Okay, now look at what it says before. Verse 4, but because of his great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgression. Notice in this particular translation, it has that long line there, which means it's going to give you something that you really need to know It says, "It is by grace you have been saved." Now, I didn't say anything about believing here, right?
Right.
Isn't that interesting? So 2,000 years ago, the question would be, and if I tried to pin you on this, if I could play the role of a Protestant for a moment, I could ask you the question, were you made alive when Christ was made alive according to this passage? Now, I don't care what you think about it. I'm just asking you, is the author here stating that people were made alive with Christ?
I don't care.
Imagine him helping you with your homework when you were a kid. Like, what would his kids? And this is 7, and this means Christ.
It would take a long time before you learned anything.
Uh-huh.
It's like, get to the point already.
Say you, Diana.
It sounds like that's what you're driving at. It sounds like that's where it's going.
Okay.
Yeah, where is this going?
Because of his great love for us. Who would be the us in context? Is this just believers?
Your mom.
Is he saying believers alive? Or is Paul writing beyond certain people believing?
He's writing to the people of Gallifrey.
People in Protestantism.
That's exactly what he's doing. He's writing to the Time Lords in Gallifrey.
Yeah, I love how it's Jews and Gentiles, but he talked about it being universal, but like other, he does that mean the people at the time considered other races to be human? I mean, this can't be a global thing if you don't even know that a people exist, and if you met them, wouldn't consider them human.
Which tend to happen after this was written, didn't it?
Uh-huh.
Interesting. And in the name of this book, that happened too. People were treated very indecently.
Oh yeah.
So they could,
no, but it's all about being decent and kind.
Yeah. It's all fine how the Spanish treated the South Americans and the Central Americans. It's fine because at least they were able to bring them the Bible.
Yeah, well, you know.
Yay.
Yay.
Your race be upon us all. Just don't get it in my hair, okay?
Ew. I like that.
They would put their name in, embed that in the word us, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, when
let's read verse 4 like this.
Let her talk, asshole.
For us. Who is the us in context?
Well, when I see that, as an author writing to an audience, I'm thinking he means the audience and himself.
Okay.
That's the first thing that comes to my mind when I'm talking about the way we are doing something. Would it be reasonable for me to be taken as meaning you, Dr. Jones, you, Daryl, and myself, Diana?
Okay, let's use your understanding of it. Okay, let's go with that for a moment.
Your understanding
God
of it
is only.
That's very condescending.
It really is. Let's use your understanding of it.
Loving, that is, according to the Apostle Paul, when he said that his great love for us, he's only talking about those people there at Ephesus, correct?
It would seem. That's the first thing that comes to my mind.
Sure, I get that. I get that.
I may be wrong, but if I am, correct me, please.
Okay, I'm going to ask several questions here, but the question is, let's pretend for the sake of argument that it is just people in Ephesus, okay? Okay, well, let's ask the question. When Paul was writing this document, or one of his students was writing this document, is he saying that God loves us because we believed? Is there anything in this book that would suggest that God loves us because we believe?
Well, from our other discussions, I'm thinking no. I'm thinking that Paul believes that his God loves the community simply because he does.
Okay, look at verse 3 of chapter 1. Praise be to the God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, who has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ. So it says, blessed us.
So this is one thing that really bugs me about this whole thing is, okay, yay, blessings, right? But they're spiritual.
Yeah.
Yay! Here's a box of spirit.
Let me ram down this word down your throat several times. Blessed us, blessed us, blessed us.
Yeah.
Blessed us.
Let's force atheists into a Bible study.
Basically, that's what this is. And let's have our token atheist be the one being forced to answer in the way that won't freak out Dr. Jones.
Well, he's about to freak out.
Oh yeah.
They freak out.
But he's so passionate.
Yeah, he's a nice, honest guy. So nice. So honest.
Just so special. So blessed.
Yes. Perhaps the same us, correct?
Perhaps, I'd say very likely.
Okay, likely the same us, who has blessed us in the heavenly realms with every spiritual blessing in Christ, for he chose us in him before what?
Before the creation of the world.
So he chose us. So that means that belief didn't have anything to do with us being chosen or being loved or blessed or whatever, right? How many blessings did these people in the us group get?
So, like it or not, you're blessed.
Yeah, blessed. God may not even like you.
That sounds like spirit rape. Good thing spirit ain't real.
It is. It's kind of like you change the word to God to say, even if you change it to like Adam loves you.
You know what God means to me?
What?
God means poop. That means poop. So you would agree that poop is good, right?
Oh yeah, can grow vegetables from it.
Yeah, poop is good. Therefore, you love God, Faye.
Oh wow! Let me go stick my nose in some. That's God.
Yeah. Love the smell of fresh God in the morning.
Oh, gotta have your godly constitutional.
Oh.
Some are all blessings.
From the way Paul's writing, it looks like he says they got all of them.
Yeah. So the us gang got it all, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's go back to chapter 2.
Or not.
Verse 11. Therefore, remember that formerly you who were Gentiles by birth and called uncircumcised. Remember, I keep emphasizing he's writing about taking the uncircumcised.
You just want to talk about dick.
Right. By those who call themselves the circumcision, that done in the body by the hands of men. Remember, at that time you were.
I love how it's like circumcised people only in this thing. Circumcised and uncircumcised. I hope you're not talking about women.
Oh.
I really doubt you are.
Well, women aren't real. They're at least not real enough to talk about.
Of course, really, but like the circumcised and the uncircumcised. If he's talking about men and women, I'm upset. If he's talking about men only, I'm upset. No matter what, this guy's pissing me off.
Yep.
Was he talking exclusively just about people at Ephesus? I don't think so. Now look at 12. Remember that at that time you were separate from Christ. Now don't go too far with that, because the consideration would be you thought yourself to be separate. Remember what was said back in chapter 1, verse 3, who blessed us in the heavenly realms, because if us includes both Jew and Gentile, that is all, if it's all inclusive.
And remember what it says in Deuteronomy, their emissions were that of horses.
Big circle. right?
Mhm.
So remember that at that time you were separate from Christ, excluded from the citizenship in Israel, and foreigners to the covenants of the promise, without hope and without God in the world. But now in Christ Jesus, you who were once far away have been brought near through the blood of Christ. Now don't go too far with that. For he himself is our peace, who has made the two one. Made the two what? Isn't he talking about the circumcised and the
No, he's talking about fucking.
But don't go too far with that,
Because
because you'll lose my narrative that I've worked really hard on.
look. The idea is we're brides of Christ. So he must penetrate us with his blessing. Okay? That's
With or without lube?
lube optional.
Oh, okay.
I don't it has to, is it blessed?
Well, it's the blood of Christ.
Ew. Oh, that would be horrible lube. It gets
That is Christian lube.
when it loses
The tears and the blood of Christ.
That's
My
great.
opinion, I'm sticking with it.
Let's just use the blessings as the lube.
Okay. It's less I don't know, illegal.
Don't get it in my hair.
That makes it sound like.
Now, is he only talking about a handful of circumcised people?
Hit me is funny.
Every time you say that, I take that as spunk. I'm sorry. Don't get that in my hair.
See, I had a handful of foreskins, and
wow,
that was the blessing.
a handful of foreskins
And a pocket full of rye.
Oh.
Circumcised, or is he talking about all of the uncircumcised and all of the circumcised? All of the circumcised.
All the dicks. All of them.
Just the ones who believed, wasn't it?
No, it could be.
Do dicks believe? Who knows? Maybe
never asked one. never really had a conversation.
Well, I can say that I've definitely met some believing dicks.
Oh, well, that kind. Yeah, I don't usually talk to those, though.
I do.
I used to, but...
Believing has nothing to do with this. This is the bullshit that you get into when you talk about theism and atheism. It's all about belief. And many of these stories have nothing at all to do with who you believe in and all of that.
It has nothing to do with belief.
Yeah, but it's in the Bible.
Oh my God, and I was just so worried until this point. And now I'm great,
Because he's not a Christian.
Why even bother with Christianity? Why believe? I don't have to believe it.
Why bother with the Bible if you're not a Christian?
Might as well just burn the Bibles. It's fine. And take down all the crosses. Oh, but wait. We have to believe it? Oh, there went your whole narrative.
Yeah. Well, if he says something separate and blah, 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 just proves that he's not a Christian. It's not about belief, right? It's not about belief, but here's the Bible. It's not about belief. God, 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 but it's not about belief. God, 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 God. Not about belief.
It's about the blessings. And
right.
The emissions of the horses.
And the fact that it's universal. So, yeah, we're picking up on your keywords, Dr. Jones.
Yeah, well, the Klingons need to be involved. I don't know if they even have foreskins.
No, I don't.
Would they count as circumcised or not if they don't have foreskins?
I don't know.
Probably not, because you wouldn't have anything to circumcise. Wow, maybe Dr. Jones can help us with that. If you're watching this, please leave a comment. Let us know. Do Klingons fit circumcised group or uncircumcised group? Would they be Gentiles?
Well, they're definitely not gentle.
They're genteel.
Ooh.
Because that's the honorable way.
Yes, because
This was
Sparta.
Sparta.
That are trying to, in principle, create behavioral models for many people. And so, for he himself is our peace, who has made the two one and has destroyed the barrier, the dividing wall of hostility, by abolishing in his flesh the law with its commandments and regulations.
But wait, that's not what he did. Jesus did the opposite. Jesus said you have to follow every jot and tittle of the law.
Well, it depends on what special pleading you're doing and what stupid claim you're making.
Oh, okay.
You don't actually have to read the book unless, you're having a believer read it to you, and then they can pick and choose, and they'll get into the obey thing later.
Yeah, well,
we're just teaching you how to think like a Christian right now.
I'm just wondering if the fabric in that suit he's wearing is mixed fabrics, because
I think it might be.
If you still have to follow the law and you believe this stuff, not that it matters that you believe. No, it doesn't.
Well, you could be a hypocrite.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hypocrite, hypocrite. That word happens.
But see, if you don't have to believe, but the law is still in place, then what point is the law?
The law is for the Jewish people, I think, because he abolished Torah. So doing that, he abolishes Jews. Therefore, you don't have to be a Jew.
Oh, okay. This is very confusing to me.
I'm just talking at my ass because I don't know what he means.
It's confusing because
these are the type of messages I'm hearing when I'm listening to this crap, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. All I know is that
his narrative defeats itself, though, is what I'm saying.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely.
Tell me that Jesus, he abolished what? What did he abolish, Diana? According to this writer Paul, he abolished in his flesh the law. Isn't that the Torah?
Yeah, it is.
If you think that Jesus liked the Torah, why did he abolish it? Now,
he didn't
just abolish.
So you can make judgments about Jewish people that are unfair.
Yeah, he didn't, though. Jesus did not abolish it. So you're wrong. Look it up.
Oh, it says with its commandments and regulations. Hello.
Hi.
Yeah, sounds like Paul wants a new world order.
Right. In other words, is he pro-Torah, or is he pushing back on these Torah guys running around trying to circumcise everyone?
Oh my goodness.
Well, from everything I'm taking together, it sounds like he's not very happy with the Torah guys, the circumcisers.
Now, did he?
So if Paul wasn't happy with the circumcisers, why is it still a tradition in Christianity?
Oh, hygiene. Don't know.
That's been debunked, though.
I know.
So it's like
I'm trying to think of the reason why they would. I personally don't care what people do. You can stick metal in there. I don't.
Some people very well do.
You can tattoo it. You can write words on it. You can paint it. You can dip it in glitter. I don't care what you do with your junk.
You could stick it in a butt.
You can stick it in a butt. Yeah. As long as you have permission.
Yeah. As long as it's consensual.
Right, because that butt's not yours.
Yeah. You have to have consent. And preferably lube. But not the Jesus lube. The Jesus lube is
kind of gross.
Yeah, it's kind of very gross.
Make the two one? And when he makes the two one, do you think that the one would be a referent to the same referent that us is a referent to?
See the look?
Okay.
That's pretty much the same look I would have.
In other words, think about this. Is he talking to uncircumcised? Is he talking about the uncircumcised? Is he talking about the circumcised? Or is he talking about, We're talking.
Why can't he say people?
I don't. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, if he were talking to me like this, I would have been like, I don't know. Maybe he's talking about all the dicks.
Right.
Maybe not. Maybe none of them. Maybe he's talking to vaginas.
Yeah.
Like, what's your point?
Circumcised or uncircumcised? Oh, I don't go checking.
But why don't you talk
Were
about
people walking around with their junk out back then?
Gentile and Jew would have been just fine. I think he just likes to say circumcised.
Yeah, he likes to talk about dick.
Circumcised who believe in Jesus. And we're talking about the uncircumcised who believe in Jesus. That can't be the case, because when Jesus died and he was resurrected according to this narrative, you mean to tell me that you were made alive and quickened together, or made alive with Christ at the same time he was made alive because you believed?
Just like you would surely die if you ate the fruit from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
I'd like to know if this guy is a flat earther. I'm sorry. Do you
Well,
need
let us
lay down now?
I give up. All my humanity, or all of my hope for humanity is just lost. I'm done. I'm gonna cry.
He's awful. He's awful.
Yeah, he is, and he just gets worse.
That doesn't make sense, because most of these people never heard about Jesus until well after. That is, in Ephesus, they never heard anything about this until well after the resurrection, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so isn't Paul telling them, hey, listen, you were made alive with Christ before he ever heard about Christ, right?
Sure, yeah.
So how in the hell does it have anything to do with believing? So how in the hell does it have anything to do with believing?
Well, no, it doesn't.
It doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's annihilating believing. He's annihilating faith, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Isn't
sure.
that weird?
Just stop talking.
It would be very weird to the person behind the pulpit in Georgia today.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, let's look at his purpose. It says in verse 15, by abolishing in the flesh the law with its commandments and regulations, his purpose was to create in himself one new man out of the two. So if the purpose of Christ, according to Paul, spreading the gospel of the mystery of Christ, not the literal Jesus, but the mystery.
That's a mystery school. To become one. You know, this sounds very
erotic.
Yes, it's very platonic. You know, the monad and the duet and the. It's like, we're gonna have a Jesus baby, y'all. That's
any day now.
Oh, the mystery school. This is Aleister Crowley stuff. Like, we're gonna make a magic baby. And that magic baby will really be a metaphor for ideas.
Ew!
Oh, such mystery abounds.
Oh, how you get me with your mysteries.
Purpose was to create in himself one new man out of the two, thus making peace. Is he trying to make one new man out of the two? Notice the word new.
New.
In the old, you have the circumcised group always warring with the uncircumcised group, correct? Isn't he trying to say, hey, we don't...
Are they fighting with their cocks? What is this?
I don't know, but I'm glad you're seeing it. I'm glad you're, like, as weirded out by this. Can we keep talking about their cock?
I mean, war has a lot of phallic symbolism and symbology, right? But you keep bringing up the circumcision, and it kind of got a mental image in my mind of some sword fighting.
Yeah, you're not the only one.
What are you thinking about when you're reading this Bible, dude?
Sex, dick,
sword fighting. Two men make a man baby, a new man baby.
Well, if they could, they would have gotten rid of us long ago.
Yeah, that's probably true. And some of them do like titties. So there's that.
Blessed are those who like the titties.
Don't need to be at odds. We don't need to be different. Let's start all over again. Let's have a new
We don't need to
forward, right?
We don't need to be different.
Nah, we don't need to be different.
I'm glad we're different, Dr. Jones. I'm glad. I don't want to sit around having a conversation that has nothing to do with circumcision. But bring up the word circumcision like 30 times in a minute.
Because it's not the topic, and he can't talk about the topic directly. He can't say what he actually thinks. He has to get there dishonestly.
Yeah.
It definitely looks that way, especially here when I'm reading here in the NIV. Free himself as our peace was made the two groups one.
Right.
Which, by the way, the NIV is the furthest translation you can get away from the original Greek.
Oh, yeah.
Just saying. So that whole monologue that you went off on about the Greek and understanding the Greek, you just shit all over that in that one word. Yep.
Well, he can't make sense. That'll just ruin the whole point.
Thus making peace, and in this one body to reconcile both of them to God. Now, there's that reconcile. Is he reconciling the sins or any of this stuff that Protestants talk about? Or is he just trying to reconcile these two groups coming together?
He's reconciling the dicks.
Yeah.
That's all.
What I'm seeing here is just the two groups. It's like,
guys, I tell you what,
let's talk.
It's going downhill. We don't have faith here. We don't have belief here. Doggone, where is all of this? And it says we were made alive at the same time Jesus was made alive.
Is he pissed off? Like, why is he pissed off?
I don't know. I think he's either mocking or just let it roll and you'll see. He makes no sense here. He's just being a drama queen. I have no idea what his point is.
And he's talking about it in mystery form, Daryl, so he can get what? Jews and Gentiles.
Why did he just scream at Daryl? Daryl?
Because he's actually screaming at Diana and he doesn't want to get caught.
What the fuck? You're not slick, dude.
To get along. It's about orienting people toward functional behavior. We don't need this. Let's shut down religion. Let's call right now Freedom from Religion Foundation. We need them on our side.
Oh, so now we're getting to the heart of the matter. Now we're getting there. Now. Oh, I see where this is going.
Because, Jesus was actually putting people together, trying to get them to function together, and they're all against that. Tear down the crosses, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because, that's just one thing that just brings diverse people together so often.
Yeah, because, every time I see a cross, I think, oh, that represents me.
Look at that smug look on his face. He thinks he's won.
Yeah. Because, why don't you put up a gallows, too, next to it, and a guillotine? Because these are all instruments of murder. The cross isn't a good thing, Doctor.
This writer of this book that you're so in love with, this Ephesians, this Paul guy, told me I don't have a right to have a voice in your church.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't have any authority.
Fuck your cross. You can't teach men either.
Fuck your cross. I don't want to see that in a courthouse where I'm doing my business. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck your cross. Keep it out of the public square. Thomas Jefferson wanted a wall erected between church and state for a reason. Now, if you're not familiar with those reasons, perhaps you should look into, I don't know, all over the place. Specifically the UK. Mm-hmm. Do you know why Magna Carta was a thing? Do you know why there was so much turmoil? Because the church ran everything. Mm-hmm. The church. It wasn't separate from the government. Look at Saudi Arabia. Look at Iran. Look at Syria. Look at these places, dude. Open your eyes. Theocracies are bullshit.
It's a positive thing.
No, it's not.
Oh, but Dr. Jones says it is. He's always referencing the Bible to talk about positive things and people getting along.
I don't give a good goddamn what Dr. Jones said.
Me
This
either.
is the reality. This is the reality of it. Keep church out of state affairs. Period. Yep. It's corrupt. It's fucked up.
And if you're,
I'm not a Christian.
And if you're a politician, keep your religion to yourself.
Yep.
And out of our laws.
Yep. Don't tell me what I need to do with my body morally through the government. Don't you tell me I need to have my husband's permission to get birth control. Fuck you. Stay out of my government.
And my body parts.
Well, that's what's going on. That's another point entirely, but we can get to that at some point too.
I'd be glad to get to it, because what symbol can you get to, Diana? I mean, think about this. If you're going to tear down the white cross off of government property, please go all the way, like Paul said.
We don't have to go all the way.
Why is it white too?
Because that stands for, the cross is a phallic symbol. So, and it's white, so white dick.
Yeah.
That's all.
I thought they made them out of gold and wood and everything. I don't recall every cross being white.
Here's another word for you to look up, Dr. Jones. Freudian slip. And your slip is showing.
And emasculate yourself. What does that mean when he said that to those people who were Judaizers? If you think cutting the foreskin off did any good, take the whole thing off. And my point is, if you think that tearing down one cross off of one piece of property does something really, really good for all of us, go into every library that has any religious symbol. And please understand, the entire Hebrew alphabet has symbols embedded within the framework of the symbol itself. And if you think that you're going to get away from religion without destroying alphabets out of many different languages, you're sadly and poorly mistaken.
He's so wrong, though.
I would just like to point out that he just said something about cutting a dick off to a trans woman. I would just like to point that out.
Yep. Yep.
And
is our alphabet even Hebrew?
Hey, you know what, Dr. Jones? Look up slippery slope fallacy. Yeah.
You're going to tear down one symbol and you're not going to go after the all. Go after the all. Do that. And you're going to empty most of the books out of your library.
That's stupid. So stupid. This is stupid.
It is. And, yeah, okay. You know, he's raging on about Christianity. Our alphabet is Arabic.
Yep. Yep. That has nothing to... Oh, why don't we get rid of all the symbols then? You're such a drama queen, dude. Like, seriously, you need to be treated for hysteria. You know, I hear that butt stuff's pretty good. Adds a pep in your step. I mean, you know, you seem frustrated.
Maybe. Well, you need those little finger condoms.
Yeah, use the finger condoms. A little friendly finger won't hurt you. Just, you know, you need to chill the fuck out and stay the hell out of my business and the hell out of my government.
Mm-hmm. And stop talking about cutting off your dick in front of a trans woman.
What the hell?
He's a beast.
Can you imagine? I mean, can you imagine going through life without self-awareness so badly that you do this?
Oh, I think he's plenty aware. I just don't think he gives a fuck.
Mm.
You know?
Haven't we evolved? Because man was willing to go through some of these good and bad and ugly times and experiences. We have various reasons we as a species, we have truths that govern behavior, and we also have truths that emerge from facts. And when truths that
Truths? What the fuck are truths? Does he mean truths?
I think I think he does, but I think we need to watch some Blue's Clues to find out.
emerge from facts, they do test the waters of those truths that govern behavior, and we change, right?
We should, at least.
Isn't that what it's all about? And so when people are going after the cross and they're not saying, hey, let's go after this once and for all. Let's take out all religious symbols from books and all of this. I mean, no, just a minute. In a public library, if you have a book that's religious at all and that was purchased by the state or whatever, take it out.
Nobody's asking for that but you, sir.
Yeah, he doesn't quite understand either. It's like these things can exist in other places. It doesn't have to be in a courtroom.
Yeah, please keep it out of the courtroom. Please.
I mean, what I'm seeing in I'm seeing in Bayview Park is, and okay, maybe I'm wrong in a perspective, but here's where I'm coming from.
Have you ever been to Bayview Park? I have.
No, I have not.
Do you know how?
Who cares?
Let her fucking finish. You've been talking the majority of the fucking time.
Oh, he said talk to me, and then he's like, wait, don't talk to me. I know what I'm talking about. I've been there.
Ugh.
It is to get there. Yeah, I can tell people how to get there. I can draw them a map, and 9 times out of 10, they won't get there.
So, pin the rose on your ass. You've been there, and people still have issues. Like, you draw shitty maps? I don't care. Nobody cares. Let Diana make her point.
This is not a visible place. This guy who is actually bringing this charge is actually he's a bigot. I mean, what the Freedom from Religion Foundation is doing today, they are supporting individuals that are very much of the mindset of the KKK. And for some reason, atheists don't understand that and don't get that. That doesn't make any sense to me.
He has to back that up and prove that statement because, excuse me?
Who are you talking about? I would like some names and some resources, please. Because I don't know what you're talking about. You're just saying shit. And if that's true, I'm pretty sure there would be atheists that were pissed off about that. They would demand that he would be taken out. So they don't like being associated with fucking bigots. I think citation, okay? You didn't even bother to name a name.
Well, not only that, but apparently atheists support the KKK to this guy, but we're too stupid to realize it. Obviously, we wouldn't mean to, because we're too stupid to realize it.
Derp, derp.
Well, if you really listen to him, he's a complete and utter... and he makes these claims, he's not backing anything up with fact. He's just blah, 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 this, and you people are like the KKK, blah, 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 blah.
There's really no difference between this, at least where it's coming from, the intention and what's lying beneath, than the stuff that you hear from Red Pill Religion. It really isn't.
Yeah. He's really disgusting.
Yes.
Faye in the side chat made my point. It's not about the books; it's about mixing religion and government. Where
That's
I'm
me.
Just a minute. No. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
Let her finish a fucking sentence.
No, because she has no right to correct him on his show.
It's not about the books; it's about mixing religion and government. Where I'm coming from here
just a minute. No. I don't buy that. I don't buy that.
That cross is the cross of the fundamentalist.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question because
AKA, let me change the subject.
Yeah.
Let me change the subject because I don't agree with this and I can't even talk points on this. So let me change the subject and confuse the issue and make it so you can't make your point because I have to be correct.
That's very disrespectful.
Poor Diana.
Yeah. He's treating her like complete shit.
Oh, yeah.
You're telling me that what a person's beliefs are, and please understand this, and I'm going to state this carefully.
Mhm.
In theism, one of the things that is clearly taught is this: your viewpoint of God determines your conduct.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, where the fuck did you pull that out of?
That's the first time I've ever heard that from any theist.
That's no. No.
View of God is that he's this judge and he will do X, Y, and Z to you if you don't do right. That determines somewhat your behavior. And
I've heard people say that, yeah.
And so my point is, your viewpoint, we have a lot of people today who are religious, who are in political office, and unfortunately, their viewpoint of God determines what they do in office. And you can't get away from that.
Yeah.
And our legislators, let's say our government, if it's truly to be secular, it must be pluralistic. It must be open to all the ideas, not just some of the ideas. We cannot say that the Constitution stands for a document that says we cannot have people who are oriented in a religious sense.
Nobody is saying that.
Yeah, that didn't even make sense.
No.
The Constitution is a document. Like, what the fuck are you...
Not only that, but nobody... Atheists don't go around going, oh, we can't have Christians in office or we can't have Muslims or Jews in office.
Nope.
We say, or most of us say, keep it secular. Be all-inclusive.
Yep.
And what he's saying is not what atheists say.
Nope.
I hate this guy.
Involved in government. And so the very nature of how language works and has been utilized throughout the centuries through symbols. I mean, think about this. When symbols were first created, when we only had
fuck
oral language,
me.
we didn't have written language. When symbols were first
With?
came on the scene, they stood not just for one thing, they stood...
Look, this one symbol stands for one thing. Okay? Okay.
If symbols are just interpretive, the way he's claiming, then it wouldn't make sense to have crosses on buildings because they don't actually mean anything. So why waste the taxpayers' money?
Mm-hmm.
He's arguing with himself now.
He's been doing that the whole fucking time.
Mm-hmm.
Almost an entire narrative, a story, if you will. They came out in the form of pictures, and I think that you can wrap your mind around that.
Oh my god.
I think you can wrap your mind around that, Diana. I know you can wrap your mind around that, Diana. You're a smart lady. Very smart lady.
You reek of condescension, dude. Like, seriously. It's worse than Old Spice.
Is it a little Aquavelva?
Oh my god, that's even worse. Oh.
The man before you. He reeked of Aquavelva.
Maybe that's what the blessings are.
When you look at First and then Second Temple Hebrew and so on, we have these symbols, and you can go back and just look at the symbolism throughout history, and you can see religious thought just in the symbols themselves. And so what you would have to do to take out all religious thought and symbolism throughout.
You can't take out religious thought. What the fuck is... What? Who the... Where?
We're not talking about thought police. He is.
What the fuck? Oh my god.
Places where you find it, you would have to destroy the majority of what we find in 1st and 2nd Temple Hebrew. You would have to just take complete alphabets and put that outside of government. I don't think that we want to go there. In other words, a secular government that is not pluralistic is not truly secular. Secular needs to be pluralistic in accepting the fact that we do have various people with various opinions on X, Y, and Z.
Okay, so put up all the symbols in the fucking courthouse.
Including, like, devil worshipping, please.
Yep. And, something Indian so I can enjoy some titties because they like their titties and their cock and their symbols. So let's have big old cock
Yes, please.
in the courthouse.
That way I'll have something to giggle about. Yes, please. I'm very immature. I think cock is funny.
See how ridiculous this goes to, Dr. Jones, when you take it to an absolute absurd conclusion? You can't reduce this to an absurd thing.
You're trying to talk sense to a moron.
All we want is to keep your Christianity out of our government. Keep your Islam out of our government. Keep your beliefs out of our government.
Yeah, you can practice it if you want.
Yeah, that's fine. You got the First Amendment. You have freedom to worship or not worship as you fucking please. Keep it out of the fucking courthouse.
But he's insisting.
The separation of church, quote unquote, and state, quote unquote, is a separation of modality, not a separation of thought. A big difference. In other words, the government cannot dictate to the church, nor the church to the government. But that doesn't mean that the government will not house or employ people like in government.
Oh my God, are we 5 years old?
It's not just about dictating, Dr. Jones. It's about, like, the government cannot enforce religious rules on people.
Yeah.
You can't be judged for being the wrong group. You have to be treated like a freaking human being. That's what that's about. It's not about what he even thinks it's about, but yet, can you read the Greek?
Only we could read the Greek. That would totally believe, just like this guy. Oh, I don't want to read Greek if that's the case.
Don't have religious ideas. Does that make sense?
No.
This is why
Nothing you say makes sense, Dr. Jones. Nothing.
His belief that there is no God, and he put a monument in Tallahassee on government property. I said, thumbs up. Why did I support that move? Simply because if you're secular, you want to be pluralistic. Once you become non-pluralistic, open to various ideas outside of your own, you're reducing. You become a reductionist in the worst order. You're trying to say you've got to erase. And that measurement will go so far off. It is very much like what the Jews did. And this is why Paul was arguing for a secularism.
No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. Thomas, no. This was John Locke and Hobbes and other people. Paul did not. No.
He's a liar, or he's completely wrong.
Pretty sure that in the Jefferson Bible, Ephesians 2 is not present. Just saying.
Ephesians, that was pluralistic. In other words, we have to have both circumcised and uncircumcised coming together.
Oh my God.
He was not trying to orient people toward, let's build synagogues everywhere. That's not the point. The point is you can mix. That is your
Well, he did mention foreskins. He was talking about cutting off the entire penis. So we can definitely assume he's only talking about men here. And he's leaving women out completely.
And one thing is for sure, Paul was a Roman citizen. And what do we know about Rome? Well, it's a very pluralistic society. So it's not like Paul came up with this. Okay.
Okay.
Simply because man does live not by just the letter of scientific methodology, but man does live by the symbolism of metaphor.
Where does he get that? Man does not live by scientific methodology. Scientists do. And a lot of people could use scientific. We do pattern recognition for the most part.
You know, take this with a grain of salt, but I can't live without you. I'm literally gonna die. Like, you know, if I didn't keep saying these metaphors, you might die, because you can't survive without the metaphors and the cliches and the bleh.
Well, just keep giving me the metaphors then, because I can't live without you either.
The answer is blowing in the wind.
Oh, a lot of shit is blowing in the wind right now.
Blessings.
Aren't we blessed?
So blessed.
That is a fact.
I mean, the problem we have is right now where there are those who are pushing for a theocracy. They are pushing for what you might call a Christian Sharia.
Thank you, Diana.
If the folks in Pensacola saw a crescent and star go up on government property, I don't think they'd be very happy. But I'm seeing that crescent going up on government property and the cross going up on government property as the same thing, saying, okay, but we're in charge here.
Okay, but Mars Hill, one of the most important things that needs to be...
So what is it that the United States did when we went to the moon? We planted a fucking flag there. Why? To show our dominance. Especially
it's the same as pissing on your enemy.
Yeah.
Like, this is mine. Oh, ever hear Eddie Izzard talk about, like, the British and how they went to India and they planted a flag? You have a flag. And it's just like that. We did the same thing. We put our flag down and this is ours now. Yeah. Of course, I think we share it with the whole world, but I think we're working on taking over the moon, so we have a flag, though.
Yeah, flags. You know, if we didn't have that symbolism, then we would die, because symbolism is like metaphor.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's all symbols. It means nothing.
Blessings.
There. In that setting was pluralism. There was this inscription, and Paul looked at it. Wow. Agnosto, thou. What does that mean? In Greek, it simply means to the unknown. What was the unknown? God. Now, God is just a term thrown at the unknown because we don't know what it is. In other words, when you look at something that's unknown, you could just say God.
Then why do you keep referencing it if you don't know what it is?
Why don't you just say unknown? It's pretty simple.
They're trying to change the word unknown to God. Get ready to be angry, everyone. Get ready to be angry. Here it comes.
And that's unfortunate, because in that inscription, it simply meant to the unknown, and then what? You simply have apposition there. And so it's simply saying unknown is simply the same thing as saying God. I use that all the time, but people don't get that. And so, do I believe in the unknown? Let me ask you the question tonight, Diana. Do you believe in the unknown?
Loaded question.
Of course I do.
Unfair.
No, therefore
then according to my usage, you believe in God. Because I've stated clearly.
According to your usage tonight, yeah.
Right. I've stated, no, not just my usage. I'm talking about Paul at Mars Hill when he was looking at the inscription.
Who cares? Some dude a long time ago that was looking at inscriptions.
According to my definition, agree with me. And no, it's not just my definition. This is more than my definition. He just bamboozled her. He just bamboozled her, and I'm really mad.
Yeah. This was a very dishonest move, Dr. Jones. You should feel bad. This was bad, and you should feel bad.
Uh-huh. Shame on you.
Shame, shame, shame.
Bad person.
He looked at this and he said, oh, to the unknown was in apposition, agnosto. What was the appositive? Theo. And so, in other words, the unknown and God were one and the same. And some people were saying, oh, no, this God, he's almighty, he's the creator. No. That's not what that was saying. The philosophers were dealing with it as being unknown. Now, my question to you is...
He's changing it.
But I thought that while ago the philosophers couldn't understand this stuff.
He keeps changing it because he wants...
The philosophers don't understand theology, so why the fuck are they talking about theological concept?
Because it fits his narrative.
This is gross.
It really is. I hate the way he's treating Diana in this. I hate it.
I hate it too.
Instead of saying unknown, if I say God, my question to you is, do you believe in the unknown? Yeah. A lot of things unknown. I don't have a clue. When something's unknowable, I agree. We can call it unknown or we can call it grapefruit. I don't care. This is just nomenclature, correct?
But you do care, because otherwise you wouldn't have said the God part.
If something is unknown, then he agrees. Is that what he just said?
I think so.
If you don't understand something, why the would you agree with it?
I don't know. Therefore, God.
God of the gaps? I mean, is this really like just, or everything he doesn't understand is like, oh, okay, well, you must be right because you're saying things.
Hey, I think he's a secret atheist.
Dun 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 dun.
Dr. Jones is not a secret atheist.
Dr. Jones is not a secret, what do you call it, dick obsessed homosexual. Anyway.
Well,
come on.
There's this thing called equivocation. I'm
not equivocating when I make myself clear, Diana. Hello.
You are not, but there are those who do.
But let's not go to them. Let's go to me.
Yeah.
Why?
You're definitely equivocating. You are.
Let's not go to them. Let's go to me. Why?
Because he's the authority. He's the one with the
measuring stick.
Oh my God.
You?
Sorry.
Blessed be you.
My blessings just went everywhere. Now they're gone.
Talk to me. We're not talking. You're not talking to Eric Hovind.
They're making policy.
Okay, but you're not talking to Eric Hovind. I'm not Donald Trump. You're talking to me. I'm talking about true secularism. Should it be pluralistic?
No, you're not.
No, you're talking about the freedom from religion.
If he's talking about Paul as secularism, that's not secularism.
Nope, it's not.
He's a lying, rat-faced little
toad.
Yeah.
He's a toad.
He's a we don't like that man.
Clear.
True secularism. No, let's try this again. True secularism, got the word out, absolutely should
be pluralistic. That means that it needs to be all-inclusive. It means that nothing wags the dog. Hello. Yes, it needs to be pluralistic. How can you have pluralism that goes full circle if you're going to be tearing down crosses and tearing down monuments that David Silverman put up?
Because
who cares who put the monument up?
In order for it to be truly pluralistic, then you can't have one representation on government property. One religious representation on government property.
You know, you really should stop confusing the issue with facts.
I should. I should learn. I just never learn. I can't wrap my head around it. Just a lowly atheist fool.
Oh, poor confused woman.
Maybe it's because I'm not circumcised.
It's because of the lack of foreskin. Maybe you were already circumcised.
Makes sense. We need books in the library. For being a reasonable people, we need books. Yes, books that don't agree with your worldview. We don't need just your worldview. We don't need just my worldview. We need a
shouting again.
Ideas out there, and that helps to sharpen us. Hello, talk to me, somebody.
Oh, we absolutely.
What a jackass!
No.
Is he preaching? What is
Yep.
Oh, symbols. What's the difference between the book and the cross? What's the difference between a book and the cross? What's the difference between the book and that big white cross?
You can't learn a goddamn thing from a cross. You can't.
Well, you also, like, normally, I mean, books have historically been expensive, so execution by book, expensive.
Oh my God.
An ugly cross. But I hope it stays there.
I don't think it's ugly, honey.
Learn in the cross is a demonstration of
Go
power.
to some of the books in the library and read some of the books in the library. The public library has books in there. Crazies.
What's the public library?
Library.
What? You're gonna talk like that to someone that you claim to respect. The public library.
Look at that smug look on his face.
Because he thinks he's winning because he's browbeating her.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's doing.
I'm talking about the Kenneth Copeland type.
I like reading the books by crazies.
Creflo Dollar types are in our library. I mean, look at all of the great theologians of all time. They're in our public libraries. Are you willing to take those people out of there?
No, I'm not willing to take that out of
Why is only the theologians like, oh, the great theologians are there? Yeah, but so is War and Peace. So is 1984. So are other books that actually meant something and changed society. The Bible's not the only book. Theological books are not the only books that have impacted cultures. He's such a dink.
And you know what? We're another place that has lots of books, courthouses. And you know what kind of books they are? They're law books. Because it's about law.
Well, you know, just put a cross on each one of them because,
like, I just don't understand this reasoning. There's no reasoning here.
No.
You need to learn. You need to learn what they thought and how it applies, how it has changed. You know, if you've got somebody writing in the 13th century, the world has changed a lot in the 800 years between then and now. But you need to know what they wrote in order to know what people are doing with it now, how they're using it, how they're misusing it. Yeah, so no, you don't want to take those books out of the library.
Okay, no, if you're not willing to take
you should see my library, my B section.
Okay, if you don't want to take the books out of the library, leave the cross up. And there's
it's not the same thing, you jackass.
Nope.
I think at this point I'm freaking out in the side chat.
I would just like to say one thing here. His analogy between the library and a public display is fucking ridiculous and stupid. People go to a library and voluntarily search for the books they want. They're not publicly forced to view the books in the public library that they don't want to view.
Exactly.
That's a ridiculous analogy, and he's a fucking moron.
Yep, he is.
Not only is he a fucking moron, but he is a lying, deceiving, dishonest, all or nothing dink.
Hey, Dr. Jones, can you wrap your mind around what Godless Iowan just said?
Probably
can you
not.
do that? Library.
Have you read the library?
You're not forced to read every book in the library.
And they're all the good ones are theological, right?
No.
Because all the theologian writing is there. And if you remove that, then people won't be able to read the great theologians. Yeah, there's Google.
Being so rude. How am I being so rude? You know I love you. We're having fun, talking back and forth, being passionate about some
gaslighting you.
issues.
Oh, he's talking to me now.
I'm a gaslighting bitch.
Yeah, because it's not about books. He's being an extremist. He's being so rude. Yeah.
Yeah, he's reacting to me now.
Yeah.
I'm a little gaslighting bitch.
I saw that movie.
Yeah, I'm going to give you that one. No, I don't see Dr. Jones as rude right now. We're having a spirited discussion.
Am I being an extremist? I'm being called an extremist.
Yes.
You extremist stink.
It's not inclusive, bitch. It's dominance. It's not
All or
inclusive.
nothing is a ridiculous position.
Yes.
And just because his precious Paul was saying, oh, well, hey, if you're going to cut the foreskin off, you might as well cut off the whole enchilada. Well, Dr. Jones, cut your dick off.
There you go. I don't condone that. Don't do that.
No, not really, but...
An extremist. Get this. I want you to see this. This is where this goes. I'm radical because I want all thoughts on the table, not some.
No, that's not what you're doing, Dr. Jones.
That's not at all what you're doing. You're a liar. That is not what you're saying.
You're not even representing the argument correctly. Or honestly.
Pluralism, and I'm being extremist? Think about where this is going.
You're not talking about pluralism.
Nope.
I'm arguing for secularism.
No, you're not.
How the fuck is that? I'm arguing for secularism, but...
That's like when he says, I'm not a Christian. I'm not a Christian. Let's read the Bible together.
Pluralistic, inclusive, putting everything on the table, not just some things on the table. I'm talking
Liar.
not censoring. Hello, talk to
Liar.
me.
No, you've got the books. They stay, please, because I want to be able to read them. I'll put it bluntly. I want to know what the opposition's up to.
Diana, I'm being told that I'm browbeating you. What's going on here? I don't know what's going on.
I'm being honest.
Yep.
Well, jump in, Daryl. Defend me. I mean, what's going on there?
You've been quiet out there.
Why does he need defense?
Because I'm right.
Yeah, that's true.
Somebody, well, no one help this mother's son.
Hello, Daryl. Step in.
Hello. Oh.
Hi there.
So is Daryl like even? We haven't seen him for a long time.
Well, most of the time, Dr. Jones talks to Daryl and not Diana.
Daryl hasn't said like.
Oh, that's because he's basically here to browbeat Diana this week.
It's disgusting.
It sounds to me like y'all are having a good time.
We're having a wonderful time. And
I don't even have to add comment to that.
No, you don't.
yes, I would rather keep history archived.
That's not about keeping history archived, you stupid.
I'm gonna keep my history archived right in your ass. Right in your justice system. No!
Listen, I'm not a Christian.
Yes, you are.
Read this over and over again. Paul said, hey, if you had known the wisdom of God, you wouldn't have crucified him. Paul the Apostle was against crucifixion. I'm against crucifixion. Unfortunately, some people think that crucifixion was what took care of their sins. And I'm willing to negotiate. I'm willing to...
You don't need a cross.
What's there to negotiate? I don't understand this at all.
I'm thinking maybe he needs to see a doctor for a brain scan. Just saying.
It couldn't hurt.
This civil experience.
See if there's one in there.
This kind of sense. I'm willing to be secular, that is pluralistic, and allow you to have your thoughts without censoring them. I'm willing to allow you to put symbols, books in the library, all of that on public property.
You're allowed to have books in the library because he's allowing it?
Gee, thanks, Dad.
He's gonna let us read books.
Thanks. I didn't know it was
Aww.
you that was running everything. My bad.
Taxpayer, the taxpayer monies from me and everybody that I know can pay for that. I'm willing to have atheists to have their monuments out there. I'm willing to have Muslims and everyone else in between on this and that. Put things out there because
What's an atheist monument?
I don't know. I really don't know.
How much I'm willing to bet at least $20 that he thinks it's a statue of Karl Marx.
I don't. I know a while ago, a couple of years ago, there was this whole big rigmarole about an atheist monument. I can't say that word well. And they were putting it somewhere, and they got permission to put it somewhere, and blah blah blah. And I was like, no, don't do that. You know, just don't spend the money on another useless thing that doesn't belong there.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. An atheist monument makes no sense, and having religious symbols all over, say like courthouses and town halls, and I don't know, the White House. Just no.
Just put big dicks everywhere. Glue some dildos on the courthouse wall.
Yeah. Well, if that's what they're going to do, then we should create the Church of the Dildo.
Yep.
We need a really obnoxious statue. Really obnoxious. And insist on putting it in. It's not pornographic. That's part of my religion.
Yep.
We need more books at libraries. We need more symbols on public property because we don't have enough diversity of thought in Washington, D.C. Yes, in Congress, we don't have diversity of thoughts. We have two parties. These people are stuck. I'm talking about real stuck. They're stuck in the mud. They're not getting out. I think that we need to up the game in thinking, and we can't do so by censoring each other. I think taking the cross down is ridiculous. It's nonsense.
It's a waste of taxpayers' money.
This may need further. Let's try this again. This may need further discussion later. Because I think
why later?
I don't know.
I mean, because
she doesn't really stand up to him.
I think that this is a perfect opportunity to tell him just exactly how wrong he is. And I do applaud the challenges that Aunt Diana put forth. However, you're way too nice, sweetheart. I love you, but you're so nice. You're too nice.
I know. She's so non-confrontational too. Sweetest thing, really.
Yes. And this is a relationship that I feel is not benefiting. This is hurting. I mean, the dude came on there and started talking to you about circumcision and cutting dicks off. That's offensive to me as your friend.
Yeah.
So just putting that out. It's uncomfortable. It's confrontational. It's whatever. But
very cringeworthy.
Very cringe. Yeah.
I think we're seeing two different venues, and the
venue doesn't matter.
How am I going to word this? And thinking that they're, I'll say, for example, again, I mean, were someone to put a seal of Solomon in every courthouse in the country, would that go over very well?
See,
or the Islamic Crescent.
Okay, see, I get your point, but Compelled Unbeliever made a point that I completely agree with. He said, he and or she, I don't know, but it doesn't matter.
I think his name is Dave.
Okay, Dave said, bad history is history. Bad theology is theology. When we can look at it, we can learn from their mistakes.
Bingo. It doesn't have to be on government property.
What the fuck do we have to learn from a cross being on a courthouse lawn? Or being on a wall in a courthouse? What the hell do we have to learn from that?
Nothing.
There are crosses everywhere. Nobody's trying to take your crosses away. Like, you're just being ridiculous.
Put them on your house.
Yeah! Stick them in your butt for all I care. Just keep them out of my courtroom.
Saying, to know what the opposition is up to or what they were up to.
It's like this. I'm not a Christian.
Yes, you are.
Yeah.
And I understand that when people finally get the picture of what took place, that is through the means of that kind of theology. That mistake. Now when I look at the cross, I reflect back on my past and I can see, wow, I used to think that that's where I saw the light. Now I think it's where I bumped my head.
So what are you doing now? At least we have an explanation for why he makes no sense.
He bumped his head?
Yep. I think that was a literal statement at this point.
It's rather disturbing, his thought process.
So tell me, Dr. Jones, after viewing this video that you have produced and hearing all the stuff that you've said, do you feel a little bit crazy? Because if I were you, I would be embarrassed.
Yeah.
And so things have changed, and I'm simply saying that symbols, we don't need to turn them into the devil in a sense. And so,
I'm not Christian, but we're going to talk about the devil.
And we're going to talk about the whole thing as Ephesians. Why are we discussing theology if you're not a Christian? What are you? Oh, I'm spiritual, not religious. Because the religious part is just, it's been tainted.
Yeah, well, I worship eggplants.
You know why the fuck it's been tainted? Because of this book. Because of the ideas within the religion.
To be fair, it's a super book.
Cast out things and burn books. And when I see atheists doing this kind of nonsense, like the freedom from...
We don't burn books!
No, we don't. That's a lie.
Atheists do that kind of nonsense.
Oh, Maury, where are you?
I'm not burning anything!
Yeah, that's ridiculous. It reminds me of these radicals and these fundamentalists that are here in Pensacola. That's what I'm saying. And the atheist who actually came and he lives here in Pensacola, and he's not a person that you would think that is very measured. If you ever get a chance to speak to this individual, this person is just a bigot. And it's sad that it's from Religion Foundation.
Oh, this is what it's from. He was talking to someone who doesn't agree with them, and he's decided they're a bigot.
Oh.
He's having a personal argument with someone who's not even in the room.
Wow. That's a whole other level of cringe. So, what's their name? Have you written to the Freedom from Religion and told them, given them evidence of his bigotry? I don't understand. I think it's a lie.
I think it is too.
I like the comment here. Put a devil worshipping altar with a goat man right next to the cross. Then
that's me.
Oklahoma.
I don't know, but my point is, put up a statue of Aaron Ra.
He totally missed my point. I said put up the picture of the devil, and he's like, put up Aaron Ra. I love Aaron Ra.
Aaron Ra is not our leader, dude. We don't have a leader. It's not an authoritarian thing here.
He's an idiot.
We don't need phallic symbols to put in the fucking courthouses. We don't need to worry about whether somebody's dick is circumcised. Gross.
Oh, no. I think Aaron himself would state that he's not worthy of worship.
I'm not talking about worshiping Aaron Ra. I mean, we have statues of all kinds of individuals throughout history that we admire. I admire what Aaron Ra's trying to do. So why not have a statue of Aaron Ra?
Okay, that kind of statue I could take. A statesman's statue. I'll take that. Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so simply saying, why not have a cross? I'd like to have a statue of Daryl.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Only if it's earlier days. You know.
What the fuck? Why Why a statue of what? Because he's agreeable or what? Because he ain't said anything? He's been a good little boy or what?
I think so. Because he's trying to detract from the fact that I said put a picture up, put a statue up of the devil.
With the afro hair?
Yeah.
Okay. You should have seen me when I was 20.
So is there any more relevant stuff in this?
Not really. He ends it soon, and I was pissed, and that was that.
Wow. This is really, really bad.
Yeah, I really hope that a whole bunch of atheists and just anyone who has any sense does video reviews of this guy. I really want people to, because he needs to be taken down off of his preacher's pulpit. Is that the word, pulpit?
Yeah, pulpit.
Yeah, because that's what he's doing. And he's being disingenuous, and he's a liar, and yeah.
Yes. I mean, he debunked himself in his own video. That's
impressive, isn't it?
That's very impressive. But it's unknown, so it must be God. Tomorrow is unknown, so tomorrow must be God.
I'm unknown. The world doesn't know me. I must be God.
Yep, that's true. I'm God too. Yay!
We're gods together.
Woohoo! Well, I think the way, like I said, Aunt Diana was treated atrociously. This guy lied, and it was a horrible thing to watch. It was almost as bad as, well, I would say it was worse, really, to be honest, because he treated someone like crap personally. It wasn't just some life coach coming on there and spouting bad ideas that are dangerous and could potentially cost lives. No, this week, we're just going to beat up on Aunt Diana. That's what we're going to do. But, I love you.
Yeah. I'm going to claim to be your friend, and I'm going to use you for your audience and blah, blah, blah. But, yeah, I love you.
You know what my dad would say to me after he beat me up?
What?
I do this because I love you. And because God said, spare the rod, spoil the child.
Oh, that is awful.
Yep. It's pretty bad. So I guess we can go ahead and end it here.
Yeah.
And I've got to go and make dinner. So, yeah, thank you everybody for watching this crazy thing that we were reacting to. I know that it was difficult, but we've made it through.
Yeah, and you guys know what to do.
Subscribe to Wonder Lady!
And Mrs. Snarky!
Yay!
And do reaction videos!
Yeah!
And support Aunt Diana!
Yeah! Alright,
put up with that stuff, she needs a medal.
Yeah, she really does. Medal of Honor.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
bye!
Bye!